bad look. OG killer rolled in a backwood. Let these niggas know that I rap good. Let these niggas know that I rap good. What it do? Put in work. Nike swoosh on my shirt. Got your boo poppin' twerk. Then she blew me pop a smurf. I don't smoke games, that's a bad look. OG killer rolled in a backwood. Let these niggas know that I rap good. Let these niggas know that I rap good. What it do? Put in work. Nike swoosh on my shirt. Got your boo poppin' twerk. Then she blew me pop a smurf.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 35 of the greatest sports talk show you have never freaking heard of. This is our second round of March Madness. Last year, we had the crazy bold prediction of a 16 seed beating a 1, and somehow we pulled that out of our ass. A lot of bets, a lot of side playing there, but we made it happen. We are joined today by the gurus. You heard that right. The gurus of the college basketball sport. These are the people that sit in their rooms late at night, and this is all they think about is college basketball. This is the time of year when they shine. People call them to make bets. There are fathers putting their kids' college tuition on the line after they get off the phone with these two people. I am proud to be joined by the one and only, the man who lost his luggage on his trip to New York on St. Patrick's Day, Mr. Kevin Connors. How are you, sir?
Need new luggage.
And joining us from the good old state of Virginia as well, representing the Key West, Florida, the fisherman himself, Mr. Timothy Hoyt. Good sir, pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to March Madness getting going here.
And then, of course, the caveman himself, the oyster masturbator, the SEC stormer of fields, the one, the only, Mr. Chapman.
All right. What up, guys? Good to have you. Thanks, Timmy and Kevin, for being here. So, it's that beautiful time of the year where we all get to gamble away our life savings just to have it busted in the first 30 minutes. So, I'm going to start this thing off, and I figure we can just go bracket by bracket, talk about which games we think we really like and which ones we think are going to be potential upsets and what our expectations for that bracket to end up are. So I'm going to start this off, and I have the West. And first, the West leader is Gonzaga, and they're playing the winner of FDU and PV. I don't know who they are. I don't really care because they'll probably lose. But also there is Syracuse versus Baylor, and that's going to be a close game. But I think Syracuse is going to pull it out, and I think that'll bring up an interesting Gonzaga versus Syracuse because maybe I just don't have faith, but I don't think Gonzaga is really that great. They have a very, very high-scoring offense. Gonzaga is going to be looking good in this bracket, but I think they'll beat Syracuse as well, which goes into the bottom part of that bracket. And you have Marquette versus Murray State. Now, looking at these two teams, it's a 5 versus 12 seed. But if you look at the statistics for Marquette and Murray State, Marquette's averaging 69 points a game against and 77 points for. And Murray State, the 12 seed, is averaging 68 points against and 83 points for. So I'm going to have to go with Murray State on this one to upset the 5 seed, and that's my first upset, which will put them at the winner of Florida State and Vermont. Now, Vermont is not bad. They've got a really good defense. They did well in their tournament time, but I'm going to give it to Florida State, and that's going to bring up the Murray State versus Florida State. Murray State versus Florida State. And that's going to be a really good game. Like, I don't want to give Murray State too much credit because I think Florida State will win, but I think Murray State's going to be an interesting wild card in the tournament going into that part of the West. Next, going into the bottom half of the West, you have the 6 versus 11. You have Buffalo versus the winner of Appalachian State and San Jose University. Now, I think Buffalo is a very good team, and they could make headlines this year. I think they've got a really good coach, and I think they're playing really, really strong basketball at the right time. They won the MAC this year, and they will play the winner of Texas Tech versus Northern Kentucky. Now, I was looking at this matchup. Now, Northern Kentucky's got a great offense, but I don't see them going far. Texas Tech is they're the wild card team out of this bracket. Texas Tech, I'm expecting them to go pretty far, and they're going to beat Buffalo. They're going to beat Buffalo, and going into the bottom half, you have Nevada versus Florida. Now, Nevada's the 7th seed, and Florida's the 10. Florida's been playing really good basketball going into the end of the season. They beat LSU in the SEC tournament. Go Tigers still. And I'm going to have to pick Florida because they're playing well. And then you have Michigan versus Montana. Michigan's the obvious pick. And then that puts Michigan versus Florida, and I'm going to have to go with Michigan on that, which brings in the Texas Tech versus Michigan matchup. And the winner of this game, in my opinion, is the one who's going to the Final Four. I have made one bracket with Michigan. I have made another bracket with Texas Tech. Because Texas Tech may have statistically low offensive numbers, but they have been injured, and they are bringing back their shooting guard, and they've got a much better offense than their statistics show. So I'm going to have to pick. In the end, I think Michigan is going to make a repeat and win this division, beating Florida State, who beats Gonzaga, in my opinion. So, what do you guys think?
Michigan sucks.
Yeah, Michigan.
I
don't think they should be a 2 seed. I think they are way in over their heads. I think some athletic booster paid someone on that committee to put them a number 2. But I like your Texas Tech pick. Do not sleep on Texas Tech. But if I had to pick one team out of the West to be an upset, to be the double-digit seeded team to go to the Sweet 16, I'm picking Murray State. They got one of the best scorers in the country, future NBA player. And don't sleep on Murray State. Marquez also riddled with injuries or violent attacks, I should say, after their brawl with Seton Hall. That was a mouthful right there. But Murray State would be my one team out of that bracket, out of that region, to be the upset team in my pick.
Yeah, I circled that second round matchup, Texas Tech and Buffalo. I think whoever wins that game, I could easily see beating Michigan and making it to at least the Elite Eight. Texas Tech's got like the number 1 defense in the country. On offense, and then Buffalo's got a bunch of seniors. Last year, I believe they knocked off Arizona and the number 1 pick, DeAndre Ayton. And they're solid at 3-point shooting. They won like 31 games this year. I feel like of all of like the lesser known kind of like mid-major teams, they're probably like the most talented, most dangerous. So don't sleep on the Buffalo, except for the Bills. You can sleep on them.
Always sleep on the Bills. Timmy, anything?
So there's only one thing that stands out in this bracket, and that's Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm pulling for my Hokies regardless. So I'm having
regions. I love it.
Are we saying, all right.
Cool.
I was asking
Are we not in the East right now?
No. But that's a perfect segue.
Perfect segue. Let's do it. Timmy, you're up.
But I'm in the South.
All right, I'm in the East. I'll lead it off since
I'm good.
Timmy. I mean, dude, this East. Personally speaking, on our behalf, everyone here. I mean, listen, this is all our favorite teams: Virginia Tech, Michigan State, LSU,
anyone that plays Duke.
Anyone that beats Duke.
Like, this is my bracket right here: VCU, Hokies.
Are you going to say Liberty?
No, fuck yeah.
No, dude, Liberty is nothing. They're nothing but a high school. They're gone.
Listen, I'll tell you this right now. Virginia is the one state that always has an upset team. Always. We got George Mason in the past. VCU has done it before. UVA fucked everyone's bracket last year, and guess what? They're going to do it again because they're choke. They're
It's
worse.
That's
than
where I was looking at
this
my
year.
bracket in the South. Old Dominion, Virginia.
Old Dominion. I mean, Virginia has those teams that no one thinks about. And I'm telling you, I think this East bracket is going to have a team from Virginia, cough, cough, not Virginia Tech, the Chokies. Love you, but God bless you. You suck. I'm thinking it's probably going to be, I could see Liberty sneaking in. Mississippi State is one of those teams that they got pretty high ranked, in my opinion. I think they bit off more than they could chew. But Duke, you're going to have to go through Zion Williamson, the God himself, King Zion. If that man is healthy, it's game over. But if someone can somehow sneak a prostitute into Zion's hotel room before the game or after a game, I think there could be a scandal brewing.
Switch
And I think this is the only way that Duke would lose and not go to the Final Four.
I can feel
There
that.
has to be a scandal. There has to be something involved because without Zion cannot be on the floor. If Zion is on the floor, Duke takes this region hands down. But we'll go look at some other teams. One of the big upset that I'm looking at in the East, Ellis, I gotta do this to you. Yale versus LSU. The Harvard boys versus the good old boys in the South. Do not sleep on this Yale team. They're shooters. They move the ball. They play very methodically. They know what they're doing. And LSU, well, you want to talk about scandal central already. LSU basketball players make more money than probably any of us have made this whole year combined.
Well, yeah. Duh.
And guess what? They're good. But a team that can sneak in and has been playing hot, and in my opinion is very underrated, coming out of the bottom, the Michigan State Spartans, led by yours truly, Tom Izzo. Tommy Izzo. That man is a Final Four fiend. He is guaranteed a Final. If you go to Michigan State and you stay all 4 years, it is guaranteed. It's pretty much in your contract when you sign with Nike, aka Michigan State, that you will get to the Final Four in your career with Tom Izzo.
2 seniors this year.
To me, this is an awkward matchup. I look at the 8-9 VCU versus UCF. How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
Hard to pronounce.
Where did these teams come from? I thought these teams were like not even going to make the tournament, and somehow they're playing each other, and then the winner plays Duke. I think that's a little rigged. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, but I'm calling a scandal here.
You're gonna fast forward to that potential Duke Virginia Tech ACC Sweet 16 matchup and let us know who you think is gonna win that.
Virginia Tech somehow, some way, always manages to beat Duke. They did it earlier this year, and if that matchup happens again, with Virginia Tech having their best point guard and Justin Williams playing, I think Virginia Tech can beat Duke. Robinson, sorry.
Didn't Zion miss that game though? Was he playing?
He did. He did, but that's what I bring up my other point, the scandal.
Yeah.
There has to be a scandal. You gotta play the wheel. You gotta play outside the game, off the court.
The Game of Thrones, the game of I don't know.
The game of NCAA violations.
LSU.
That's what we're playing. But honestly, if I had to make a pick, I would pick. It's going to come down to Duke, Michigan State. I mean, these are the top two. I think these are probably the top two teams in the country right now, regardless of what the actual standings say. ACC champs and Duke, Big Ten champs and Michigan State. I think this is really a top-heavy bracket. But if Zion's healthy and if Zion's on the court, yeah, I'm putting my money on Mr. Williamson, the future first pick of the NBA. Any thoughts on this region, boys?
Yeah, I already said I love this bracket. This is my upset bracket, I guess. I got the Yale, I have the Hokies going on, Liberty beating. Why did he pick mine? Yeah, I'm on the phone now. And VCU going on, but Duke, Virginia Tech we are notorious for beating them, but with Zion in the lineup, that's just going to be pretty tough to handle. So that's the end of the Hokies there.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I think St. Louis is going to upset Virginia Tech.
Yeah, don't be butthurt just because I picked Yale. Don't just go off the rocker and pick St. Louis.
I don't know how far Yale's going to make it, though. So if they go on Maryland, who wins that?
That's the thing. I like Maryland. Maryland's a tough team. Big Ten teams are tough.
So, yeah.
I think I see Belmont coming out of that. I could see them going to the Sweet 16 and then bowing out to Michigan State. And I feel like they're always kind of a dangerous team. They shoot a lot of threes. Maryland's not that good. They lost in the first round of the Big Ten.
That's where we need to watch that Belmont Temple game.
Dude, how nuts would it be if LSU and Virginia Tech played each other?
Yeah.
I would travel to Baton Rouge to watch that game.
That would be freaking nuts.
Because that's going to be, if that happens, that's an Elite Eight game.
Yeah.
I will travel. You heard it here first, Trash Talkers. If LSU somehow, some way plays Virginia Tech in this NCAA tournament,
that's at the Cavs Center.
We are doing a live show in Baton Rouge at what the hell is that bar with the
LSU can't play
Fred's.
Can they play?
That place is grimy. All right, let's do it.
We're doing it, boys.
So you got Duke coming out of this bracket, though. We should say who do you got out of this bracket?
I got Duke. I gotta go with Zion. Unless Zion gets hurt, that's the only thing that's gonna hold them back. I cannot bet against that man-child. He's 18. His birth certificate says he's 18, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
No, I think he is 37.
I think he has 3 kids already.
He might legitimately, even if he's 18.
Duke's definitely the most talented team in the tournament, probably even more talented than the Cavs. I don't know. Crazy things have happened. Duke's, they've choked before, and I will say Duke's definitely more talented than Michigan State. I feel like Michigan State's got more heart. I don't know if you guys have been following them this year, but they lost 2 players to the NBA last year. They had 2 of their other starters injured, so at one point they only have 1 starter from last year playing, Cassius Winston, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year. He's one of the best point guards in the country. So I think guard play is huge in that tournament. So I don't know. They're definitely not as talented as Duke, but if Zion gets in foul trouble or I don't know, he has an off night somehow, I'm saying there's a chance. I don't know if I put a lot of money on it, but
the freshman factor for Duke could plague them too. Michigan State, is an older team that have experience. That's always been a problem for Duke, is their youth and lack of experience in these kind of situations. So
yeah, I would say they're super resilient with all the injuries. I don't know, in the Big Ten championship, in the first half, one of their leaders, one of the juniors, he almost broke his leg. He was carted off the court. They were losing by 8 at halftime, and they came back and beat Michigan for the 3rd time in the second half. So definitely a super resilient team.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think we should let's move brackets.
Go Yale, baby. Go Yale. Go Bulldogs.
For us in the South, bro.
Yeah, so in the South, I don't see a whole lot going on here. I mean, I'd mentioned the Old Dominion, but what catch my eye first is number 1 seed Virginia, and go Wahoos. I think Virginia this year is I hope they seem to drop the ball every year, at least the past few. But I'd like to think that they could bring it together this year and make a run. So coming out of this bracket, I have Virginia winning. Let's see.
Bracket buster.
I have Iowa beating Cincinnati, and Tennessee beating Colgate. Tennessee beating Iowa. And anything different is I have Purdue going to the round of 8. So I have Purdue beating Tennessee and playing Virginia. Oh, I guess I have UC Irvine going on to play Virginia. Fuck, I missed that. I have an upset in this.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so this I'm doing it because, man, I think they're going to do it. Fuck, I don't know anything about Kansas State, and I mean, I guess they won. Yeah, you guys can tell me right, but
Well, I believe one of their best players is injured, Kansas State. So that's why I think some people think they might lose.
I don't know. I just have a feeling like it's just. I haven't seen them all year. Wisconsin's half decent. I like Wisconsin just in general. They usually have a couple tall guys. I think they have a really good center. I think his name's like Happ.
Yeah, Ethan Happ.
Yeah, Happ. Like he's been on their team for a few years now. I've watched him play, and he's definitely going to the NBA.
Wisconsin's usually good for 4 or 5, 6'10" white guys, about 230 pounds. Kind of some big country boys.
Yeah, the Kaminsky guy.
Yep.
That's an ugly motherfucker.
So I also Villanova's in this side, and Villanova can be a scary team. They're always in the contention, and
I agree, and I don't think Tennessee's that good. And I
agree.
I think Villanova has a lot of experience, and they've been here before. And Tennessee was the number one team for a while during the regular season, but once they started losing, they have not had the fire that I've seen since midway through the year. And I think Tennessee's kind of burnt out. So honestly, I've got Tennessee losing to Villanova in the Sweet 16 and going to play Virginia.
Who's Tennessee's coach? Don't they have
Bruce Pearl?
Is it? No, he got fired. Isn't it the old Texas
coach? Yeah, old Texas coach. You're right. I don't know his name.
Texas, like in the tournament, or is
Shaka Smart?
No, not the Tennessee coach. He used to coach Texas.
Rick Barnes. Yeah.
Has he ever been to a Final Four?
Yeah, with Kevin Durant.
Oh well, I mean, we could coach them to the Final Four with Kevin Durant.
Kevin, we are great basketball coaches. Don't you forget. Let's let the fact be known. Kevin and I once coached my brother's youth basketball team, and we were a 500 team, but we won our playoffs. We were in the playoffs.
Brothers go like Duke that right?
Always pass to Kevin. No one else, just Kevin.
Kevin and I are also intramural basketball champions, so I don't know what y'all are talking about.
We're a long history of winning championships.
We're champs. Like
my assist percentage and my amount of alley-oops are ridiculous.
I'm a rebound kind of guy. Box out.
I like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Frank Dugan, who might have sustained a concussion in that championship run. I hope he's doing all right. Wait, so who's coming out of that region? Was it UVA? I didn't.
I have Virginia coming out.
Yeah, Virginia.
They got kind of an
over
easy
Purdue.
I agree.
Purdue's
also the wild card. I mean, if Villanova can get past Purdue, if Purdue beats Villanova, I think they're going to play Virginia. But if Villanova can beat Purdue, I think Villanova is going to play Virginia.
So, but everyone's got UVA winning this bracket.
I must contradict all of you. I got Tennessee going to the Final Four, boys.
Oh my! You're a homer.
This team, when they are hot and they're playing, they're dropping 80, 90 points a game.
But they're not.
I'm telling you, it doesn't. It takes
still
one game.
81.7 points a game this season. That's more than every team I've seen so far.
That's the stat of the day right there. Right there by Mr. Hoyt.
I'd volunteer to date one of their women.
Nope, Duke 83.5.
All right, now you're just making me look stupid, Timmy.
I would have thought Ellis, Mr. SEC, would like Tennessee.
Nah, fuck those motherfuckers.
Shouldn't you be chanting SEC right now? Isn't that like the thing you guys all do?
No. Generally, we just whoop your ass in football. We don't have to chant.
Oh, wow.
Wow, Gonzaga almost averages 90 points a game.
Yeah, but they're in the fucking WAC. Don't count
That
Gonzaga.
conference is whack, literally.
Like
That's true.
they're not playing in the Big Ten, SEC, ACC, where they had. Like that's the problem. The ACC is college basketball, in my opinion. And when you have
Great.
Defense.
UVA, Virginia Tech, all just putting it out on one another, that's what skews those ranking systems. Like weighted, the ACC should have like 6 of the top 15, but realistically, the way the top 25 is, they'll have 6 in the top 25.
But the ACC doesn't have the most teams in the tournament.
Yeah, Big Ten, I believe, has the most teams. I think they
Yeah.
have 7.
So what's
I guess the most quality teams are from the ACC, but from
I mean, they only have 3 out of the
so
top
then
4.
the NCAA
so
doesn't
I don't
pick
think
the
they're that.
well, I mean, you have UNC, UVA, Duke. Those are all 1-2s. You have Virginia Tech, who's a number. What is it, 4 or 5?
4. Florida State and Virginia Tech are the lowest ACC teams at 4.
Exactly. No, Florida State, I believe, too.
Yeah, they're a 4 as well.
Syracuse.
Oh yeah, damn it, Timmy, you're killing me, man. You're just making me
Louisville.
stupid all night.
You don't have any
Louisville.
ACC teams under 8.
You see Florida State making a run? Didn't they almost win the ACC tournament?
Florida State can play. They got some big boys.
Dude, so the thing with Florida State's going to make it far because they can cover every position. They're deep. They have multiple, they have bench players that can come off. They're just going to be defensively sound like they are every year. Florida State didn't start out hot, but they just slowly progressed throughout the season, and that's, they closed out games in ACC play. That's what you need, and it's similar to I don't know how well our ACC teams have done in the past with the NCAA, but I think defense wins, and you got to have streaky shooters.
Can they upset Gonzaga, though? That's the question, because I see them at least making it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Do you think Purdue or Tennessee could beat UVA?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
UVA is, I don't know, it's tough. Like I
always have,
but their coach is not. He
Go ahead.
never wins.
Guys, I'm gonna say it now. I'm calling it.
State can beat Duke.
Calling it. Gardner Webb is winning the first round, baby. Gardner Webb down with the Wahoos.
Wait,
Wahoos?
Where does Gardner Webb play? Is it does anyone know? I've never.
Canada? Are they in Canada?
Yeah, that's the one stat I wish they showed is location.
It's a hyphenated college, so is it for women?
Gardner Webb sounds like a website you use to learn a different language or something. It's a private Baptist university in Boiling Springs, North Carolina.
Love it.
So maybe they get boiling hot and knock off the Wahoos. 4,500 students. Jesus.
Good God.
Including undergraduate and graduate, it is 4,500 students.
Holy crap.
LSU has 31,000 altogether.
They might lose that game. They might have to forfeit. They might not have enough players.
If Gardner Webb was to bring their whole school to the stadium, they wouldn't even fill 1/4 of the stadium. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God. UMBC is at least, I believe, 20,000, 30,000 students.
You can just could see the whole this one section. Yeah, this is the Gardner Webb
school.
So, do either of y'all know anything about Mississippi and Oklahoma?
They don't like minorities, I believe.
That's facts.
That's a good football team right there.
Football team. I thought you meant the state.
Yeah, I know. You too.
Nice.
Yeah, looking at this bracket, we have in the South, there are 3 games that would be really good football games. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Oregon, and Cincinnati, Iowa.
You're also counting out the Gardner Webb UVA football team.
Gardner Webb did they have a football team? Do they have a kicker? Usually
I don't know, the UVA's team sucks too.
I don't know. It would be competitive.
believe UVA football won more games than Virginia Tech last year, though.
Yeah,
I
but
will
they
remind you,
were
Virginia
winning
Tech has won
just like they did last
13
year.
years in a row, or 17. I don't give a shit because we're going to win next year. So we can just keep
That
it going.
They'll figure out a way to blow it, just like they have.
All right, I want to say one thing before we leave the South. Irony. I love UVA. I always have, but I lack faith in them during March Madness. I see them falling short to Purdue or Tennessee or Villanova in this matchup in this bracket.
I don't think Purdue's that good. They have one really good player in Carson Edwards, but I don't know. I don't know about Tennessee. Maybe Villanova or Tennessee, but I don't think Purdue's that great.
I think the upset team, the team to watch from this bracket, is St. Mary's. Team that can shoot the lights out, that can make space on the floor, that can make plays. Villanova's a good team that they match up with in the first round. Not very physical.
They just beat Gonzaga too, right?
Yeah. They got St. Mary's can ball. Don't sleep on that team. And they got to go up against Purdue. And Purdue's kind of, more of a slow it down and, get the guaranteed points, get 2 points. And St. Mary's, they just like to shoot. So watch out for those boys from California.
Yeah.
They could make a run to the Sweet 16.
They have a nun like that Loyola Chicago maybe on their side. You get the prayers working in their favor.
I think they have a few priests that come in the locker room before and after every game.
So Purdue, they've been on a hot streak and they've won 17 of their last 20 games.
Oh shit!
That they don't turn
Richie
the ball
G?
over. Well, they don't turn the ball over. They've got a shooter, which I'd mentioned. You need a streaky shooter and sound defense, and you don't turn the ball over, you're going to have a chance of winning games. And, if you do catch Tennessee in an off night, there you go. That's easy win right there. And go in to meet up with Virginia. Bada bing. Virginia wins.
Yeah, you mean Gardner Webb. Come on, Tim.
Yeah, they did it last year. Why can't UVA lose again this year?
Who's Gardner Webb's mascot? What are they? Is that like a sleeping dog?
Isn't it Spider-Man?
Gardner Webb spider.
Let's see. What is their
Let's
mascot?
go dogs. Let's go dogs.
Oh, it's
A lot of dogs.
Yeah.
The running Bulldogs.
All right, so what do we have? Just the Midwest? Is that the one we have left?
Yeah, Richie G, let's hear it, bro.
I think that was mine, actually.
Oh, Kevin, let's hear it, bro.
Should I
That's
do
when marijuana is terrible.
like Midwest accent, like that movie Fargo?
The ACC has 3 of the 4. Damn.
So I believe this bracket, just breaking it down, you're looking at ACC versus SEC because you got, ACC, you got UNC, the number 1 seed. And then the SEC, you got Kentucky, number 2 seed, and Auburn, the number 5 seed. I think those 3 teams right there are like probably the 3 most likely teams to make it out. You also got Houston, the 3 seed, who's interesting because no one really just thinks about them as a good basketball team, but I believe they won like 30 games this year.
Oh, they're good.
So I don't know. I think that Auburn like UNC matchup should be a really good game. I think Auburn's won something. They won the SEC tournament. They've won like 8 out of 9. They're like a dangerous 3-point shooting team. So I think if they're making their shots, like they could upset UNC. But yeah, I guess UNC's got more talent, but Auburn, like they're playing really well right now. And I think my most interesting like first round or I guess second round matchup to look out for is that Wofford is a potential upset kind of dark horse candidate against Kentucky because let's see if I wrote down the stat here. They're like one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the country. They shoot 40% from 3-point. They're second in the country in 3-point percentage, average 83 points a game. So, I mean, he's definitely a more talented team, but that could be a potential big upset to look out for.
Wofford is also another team with a dog as a mascot. That's kind of the theme here, boys. If you have a dog as a mascot, look out. Gardner Webb, Yale, and now Wofford.
We all know dogs are better than cats. So
All right, Mr. Felix is better than all you fucks.
Also, actually, breaking news. I saw this about an hour ago. Originally, I was thinking of picking Kentucky to come out of this bracket, but PJ Washington, their leading scorer, apparently was wearing a walking boot today. So he's their leading scorer, leading rebounder. It's unclear as to what the injury is, but if he doesn't play or is like severely injured, that would really make it hard for them to come out. I believe he's their best player. So
that'd be tragic for Kentucky.
And they're a cat. They're Wildcats.
Yeah, I feel like they live and die by the basketball and the chicken down there.
Their legs. But if they have a boot on their foot,
it either means you're on vacation.
Yeah, but you also can't count out the John Calipari effect.
In that case, I think Abilene Christian's going to beat them. They're just going to knock them out in the first round.
Are they a dog mascot?
They're a cat.
Abilene Christian? Yeah. Oh, look, Willie the Wildcat, yeah.
Wildcat versus Wildcat. Maybe that's why they picked that. That'd be funny.
That's a curveball right there. Two cats going at it. Cat fight.
I think this winner of this bracket is obviously not a cat or a dog. It's a ram.
It's a ram.
UNC is going to clean up this division.
UNC? You have UNC one?
UNC.
ECU Rams?
Bracket, bro. UNC Tar Heels will clear.
What is a Tar Heel, by the way? Does anyone know?
Back during the Revolutionary War, Stonewall Jackson was walking through the mountains, and he told all the the African Americans that were slaves at the time, to build this wall. And they held the wall, and they built a road, and said, "Man, they're running like they have tar on their feet." So it is about back in the Civil Wars, they were running so fast that they had black feet from running through the woods.
If that's the case, why haven't they changed their name? Why is Redskins?
Because that's the equivalent of the N-word to Indian people.
I mean, it's still associated. That'd be the similar.
Well, it says that North Carolina used to be called the Tar Heel State, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe because of that.
That's the case. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's kind of racist and has some real slavery undertones.
You need to speak up.
No, but it's a ram apparently.
So, Alice, you don't see Auburn coming out of or Kentucky?
No, I have no respect for Auburn. I think they're going to lose to New Mexico State, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Bro, Auburn, like you were saying, they are tenacious, man.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I don't.
They're hot.
Remember, you know what I remember about a tenacious defense? VCU when they made their run. When VCU was doing that full court pressure, and they were just ball hogs on everyone, hands up, everywhere. That's what Auburn's going to, Auburn, if they come out and be hot like that, they're going to be tough.
Auburn will be tough. That's just my bias. I don't see them being even. I just UNC's good, guys. Yeah. I don't care what y'all say. I mean, Duke's UNC just have more talent than the entire rest of NCAA combined.
I just realized that Kansas is in this region, and we didn't talk about them at all.
Yep.
About how bad Kansas is this year that we did not.
I have them playing UNC. I have Kansas beating Auburn.
Listen, I'm sticking to it, boys. I'm the dog theme right now. Kansas, Kevin brought it up. The Jayhawks are weak, and they are playing the Northeastern Huskies, a dog team. I'm telling you that every dog team is going to advance to the second round. The Huskies are going to beat the Jayhawks, and the dogs move on. Let's go.
That's Wait, Richard, who do you have winning the Midwest then? Who do you have coming out?
This is a toss-up. I've seen North Carolina dominate Duke, and I'd have zero faith in Kansas right now. I think they're a terribly overrated team. Yeah. Kentucky is a streaky team. I think –
and very young, too.
Very young. I think my top two picks – I still haven't finished my bracket, but if I had to pick a team, I'm going to pick Houston right now.
Houston. Ooh.
To come out. I think they're a very underrated team. No one's kind of looking at them. They're all sleeping on that team. And I think Houston will beat Georgia State. They'll go up against Iowa State, beat them. And then I think that they'll probably go against Kentucky, or I think it'll probably be Kentucky in the Sweet 16, but I think Houston can play with them. Houston's a fast-paced team. They as well run a full-court pressure defense. And like Timmy said, that kind of factor, that kind of ball hawk mentality really causes problems in this tournament when teams haven't seen that all year and they have to face it for the first time, and it's high pressure and the game's on the line. So Auburn, Houston, kind of two similar style teams, but I'm going to go with the Cougars, staying with the state of Texas. Houston's going back.
Oh, so you're saying Houston, we don't have a problem, and you're a fan of Cougars.
That is correct. Hit it on the nail on the head, my friend.
Okay. So I think we covered all of them.
Oh, wait. I got one more. Sticking with the dog theme, Washington Huskies, they're going to beat Utah State. Just sticking with the dog theme. That's all I'm saying.
Is that really even an upset though?
I'm pretty sure.
I just want to make it known, Ellis. I have a freedom of speech too. This is Mexico.
All right.
All right, boys. So we've broken down every region,
Final Four,
given our picks.
Final Four.
Before we get into that, who do you think out of the whole bracket is the one double-seeded team that could make it past the Sweet 16?
Oh, so you mean 10 or lower?
10 or lower.
Out of Midwest?
Any region. Any region.
Oh shit, that's tough.
Who's that one team that you think, hey, that could fuck everyone's bracket up? Who has that potential?
Today, actually, Murray State. Because if they can get past Florida State, they're playing Gonzaga. We all know I don't like Gonzaga. And then they're playing Michigan, as Richie said, is kind of overrated. Murray State, I think, could be your outside Final Four pick.
Well, I'm just gonna throw this one out there too. We're gonna rapid fire. How about Arizona State? They kind of missed me. You know, it's 11 seed. They got to play in, but yet they go into Buffalo. Like Arizona State, they can sometimes pull off some good wins in the tournament, and you know their name fits it. You know, ASU, go and play Texas Tech. You know, fuck Texas Tech, ASU. So they could be an 11 seed in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's some harsh words right there. That's some fighting words, boys.
You know, I didn't talk about the West.
Red Raiders, Red Haters.
I like Buffalo and Wofford, but those aren't double digits. So if double digit, I guess maybe UC Irvine. Give me the Anteaters to destroy the Wahoo season.
Yeah, see that would be the one. I
don't think anyone likes Anteaters. They're kind of weird. might phase UVA, those rich kids. They might get so scared.
It's funny that I brought up ASU when I have UC Irvine already in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I would have said Belmont, but they're playing Michigan State. So I don't think they're going to beat Michigan State. But yeah, I feel like most of the double-digit seeds, the Sweet 16 is where they kind of crap out. So it will be interesting to see if any of them. The last year, what was it, Loyola Chicago? Was a double-digit seed. They made it all the way to the Final Four.
You know, this is we didn't really talk about this. I kind of hit on it earlier that the state of Virginia causes havoc in the NCAA tournament. And I think this could be a huge first-round game in the what conferences in the South. Purdue versus Old Dominion.
Overdose University.
Do not sleep on that stupid school in Norfolk, Virginia, man.
So they've got 3 transfers this year. From LSU, Providence, and Pittsburgh.
And
so they've got some loaded talent there.
This Old Dominion team, the Old Dominion Monarchs, like Timmy said, they got some talent. They usually get the kind of players that this
local.
I'm gonna chop block some schools here and their academics, but Old Dominion gets those players that, can't really get in to the other schools, the other big schools, but hey, Old Dominion will take them, and they ball out. They are athletes. These are not student athletes. No. These are athletes that happen to go to class sometimes. That's the Old Dominion mentality down there.
And don't get paid like the LSU players that transferred.
And I believe their football team beat Virginia Tech, so maybe the basketball team's got an upset in there.
You just had to go for the nutsack shot there, didn't you?
You brought up Old Dominion.
Do a nutsack shot.
It would be sweet. Hey, I'm pulling for the Monarchs. I don't have them winning, but
although the mascot is a lion, though, so I don't know if that doesn't really fit the theme.
That's a cat. That's right. That is throwing a wrench into things.
It's a pretty scary cat. Although when it comes to football, it's not that scary, sadly.
But who are they going up against? A Boilermaker? What the hell is a Boilermaker? Like, what are we cooking? Spaghetti here? Like, what's going on?
Wait, so Richie, since you like dogs, does that mean you got Gonzaga, the Bulldogs, winning the whole thing?
Gonzaga's that one team. Ellis and I we have a weird, strange grudge against this team. I just don't like them. I don't understand why. It's kind of one of those things where you wake up in the morning and you're like, dude, I just don't like Gonzaga. Like,
I want to, but I just don't.
Exactly. They've never drawn me in. They've never given me that. Been like, oh, this team's good. It's like we all talked about it. You play in the WAC. None of us watch your games because they all start at 11 o'clock on Friday nights, and there's nothing really special that you do. You just kind of win the games that you have to win, and they don't really beat anybody out of the ordinary. I don't think they're really battle tested, but somehow, some way, they're always a 1 or 2 seed. And that's the thing. I put them in my Final Four before, being like, oh, this is the year Gonzaga goes. No, not going to happen. I think Gonzaga's big issue is when they have to go up against Syracuse in the second round and Jim Boeheim. And that's when you really find out, and the coaching of Jim Boeheim really steps into play. And he's been there. He knows what to do. I could honestly see Gonzaga not going to the Sweet 16.
Jim Boeheim's a scary coach and a scary driver too, apparently.
So how far do you guys have Florida State making it?
Alex Bregman agrees to 6-year, $100 million extension with Astros.
I guess there's your answer, Alex Bregman.
Florida State. I mean, Florida State's hot. I think they're going to beat Vermont, but I think Florida State will beat Marquette, but they'll lose to Murray State. That's kind of that little setup right there. Those four teams. It's kind of dangerous. Murray State has one of the best players in the country. What his name is?
John Morant.
Yeah, you can't pronounce his name. Something like that, Mr. Morant.
25 points and 10 assists a game.
I mean, that's the NCAA tournament is for people to shine at their at the peak. When this is how they come out. This is their welcome to the pros moment. So I think this is the big stage, and Jamont. Well, I'm not even gonna say his name, but the Murray State guy, who, like Kevin said, averages about 25 points a game. I think he's gonna come out, and I think he leads that team to the Sweet 16.
I just hope that we get a Bill Murray sighting at the Murray State game. That would be pretty cool. If he gets behind them, I think America will follow.
Yeah, oh my God, I can see Twitter going nuts. Bill Murray at Murray State. Bill Murray pulling for Murray. Murray State wins. Bill Murray there.
Hey, let's look this up. What's their mascot? Let's see.
They've got to be a dog or a cat.
Mascot.
Yeah, stick to the theme.
They are the Racer, which is what?
What the hell is a Racer?
From Kentucky, so it could be something racist.
Maybe like horses?
Oh, it's a horse.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right, well.
Maybe they're a dark horse?
Oh, my God, you son of a bitch.
So who do y'all have winning it all? Who's gonna go home, cut the nets down, and take the local women home? Who's gonna pillage and plunder?
Yeah, I said it once. UNC and Duke are playing each other. And UNC is going to beat Duke. 86-81, final. Submitted.
Yeah, I believe those are probably two of the safest bets right now. I believe of the one seeds, Gonzaga and UVA are definitely more vulnerable. They haven't really been there. So if you wanted to bet, I think Duke or UNC would be the safer bet. As far as two seeds go, I believe Michigan State's the best two seed. They got a tougher draw, but if you wanted to pick a two seed, but yeah, Duke UNC is pretty solid. It would be pretty cool to see if Gonzaga could finally pull one off. I feel like they've made a few Final Fours, never really won it. But really, if anyone besides Duke wins, I'll be at least somewhat happy.
Respect.
They got like 3 top 5 picks on their team now,
So I think my Final Four is Duke, Texas Tech, Houston, and Tennessee.
Ooh,
And I think the championship game is going to be Duke versus Tennessee. And God damn it, I can't. If Zion is on the floor, Duke is winning. I can't bet against him. This man takes over games. Like, it's ridiculous what he does. The factor that he makes, the impact that he has on the court is like nothing we've ever seen from a college player. Nothing we've ever seen. People have compared it to LeBron, but LeBron never played in the NCAA. And I think that if Zion is healthy and he's playing, there's no one in this country that can stop him besides himself. And they're just loaded with talent. Coach K is a genius. He's pretty much God reincarnated. And I think Coach K, Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick all have similar gene pool. I think somehow they were bred in a laboratory somewhere. But yeah, I got Duke winning.
I will say the one thing about Duke that makes them vulnerable is they're not a very good 3-point shooting team, and I feel like they don't have a lot of depth.
You mean besides Zion?
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he scores a lot. He's not a great 3-point shooter.
He's not a shooter.
So I feel like that's their biggest. If they play a team that's shooting lights out, or if like Zion or RJ Barrett get in foul trouble,
Cam Reddish is going to be Duke's. He's going to be their go-to for the shot, and if he's hitting, then they're going to win. Because Reddish, he can hit threes. I mean, when he's on.
Richie, are you going to set up a bracket pool this year? Like I believe you did one last year, right?
Yeah, I believe Ellis has set it up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
post the link. Link is on our Instagram page. Please go ahead and check it out. Get everyone up to date. I believe last year's champion was Frank Dugan.
Was it? I thought your girlfriend won.
No, I think it came down to the last game. Who did Villanova win last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It came down to that last game between Villanova and Kentucky, correct?
Yeah. Oh, I thought she won. Huh.
No, it was Villanova, Michigan. That's what it was. And if Villanova won, then he got the dub, and Villanova was able to pull it out. So Frank took it home. Congratulations, Frank Deasy. See if he can repeat. I still owe him a T-shirt.
Defend his ground. Look, one thing I forgot to mention is if Michigan came out and Michigan State, you have a potential Michigan State Final Four matchup, which would be round 4, which would be pretty cool to see if that's a possibility. Or in the championship, you could have Duke versus UNC potentially.
Hey Ellis, what do the people in Ohio say about Michigan?
We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, because we're from Ohio. We're from Ohio. Oh, H. We're from Ohio. We don't
I wish there was a mute button somewhere.
Fuck those motherfuckers. Yeah, it's funny when I have the controls.
Yeah. My favorite Michigan insult the Michigan State people say is they call their fans the Walmart Wolverines because a lot of their fans did not get into the University of Michigan.
No.
The Walmart Wolverines.
That's
You know
like
what-
Texas.
You know what happens to a Michigan grad when he sees what happens when you see a Michigan grad on your doorstep?
Spit it out, Ellis. Spit it out.
Paying for the
I hope
pizza.
he speaks better than that. What?
I'm done. I'm out. I'm too. Never mind for this.
Yeah, we're focused. That's the word we're looking for here, boys. We're focused. We're on point. Our eyes are open and we're vigilant. And we're probably pretty hungry, if I'm not mistaken. But all right, boys. Hey, it's been a pleasure. This is our second round of the March Madness picks and insightful information. Like I said, thank you to our two gurus for joining us today, Mr. Timothy Hoyt and Mr. Kevin Connors. You guys can find them on. You guys are making your ESPN appearance. Was that tomorrow? I believe. Is that correct?
You can see the other Kevin Connors on ESPN quite regularly. I'm still waiting for him to return my call.
Son of a bitch.
Stay safe out there on the roads. Watch out for Jim Boeheim. Spartans.
That's been it. Thank you for episode 35 of Trash Talk Sports. You've heard it here first. That some dog is going to upset another team. So if you're making picks, just pick a dog. Don't pick a cat. Unless it's a black cat.
Pick the underdog.